And welcome back to the I'm Him Sports Show podcast, whatever you want to call it. And it is almost Christmas. And as you can see, Jake is very, very excited this year for Christmas. I haven't gotten excited for Christmas in a while, which kind of sucks. I think it's just come with age. Mm-hmm. I think after I buy my gifts and everything, like the season feels over. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you play music every single day. You're playing it while you're in the shower. You're playing it while you're cooking. So you're really in the Christmas spirit. But I just don't know what it is. I just haven't found it this year.
No, I understand that. And that's weird. This year feels weird. I don't know if it's because it's like, it's not even that, like, I guess today's cold out, but like it hasn't been all that cold out. Like it doesn't even really feel like it's Christmas time, honestly. Yeah. But no, I also, I feel like as I'm getting older, like I feel like Christmas just doesn't feel the same, obviously.
Yeah.
The one thing for me is like I still obviously love it, play the music all the time. Is like I have a bunch of nieces and nephews that I like get to look forward to like watching them open presents and stuff.
Right.
So I guess that's something that keeps me in it. And my brother's a lunatic for Christmas, so I think that's one of the reasons I'm still pretty all about it. Definitely my favorite time of the year, my favorite holiday. So
yeah, it's definitely my favorite too. I think it's because I grew up an only child, so I just feel like I never got the experience of being a child like after that. Yeah. So like plenty of people that I know, like I feel like all my friends have nieces and nephews or brothers and sisters that are younger than them. So they get to keep that spirit. So I'm a little bit jealous of it. But
and as we're getting older, we're spending a lot more money than ever.
It sucks.
Dude, I've spent, like, I am proud of the stuff I've gotten people, but like I've spent so much fucking money. It hurts.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. Like I don't prepare for it like everybody else does. Like throughout the year, like I see like smart people with their money, they'll like start saving throughout the year for Christmas. They'll get up to a couple $1,000s just for Christmas, and that's just not my vibe. I just know when Christmas comes, like I'm not gonna do much except for buy Christmas gifts. It also didn't feel like Christmas because I just got back and flew in from Jacksonville from Sunday Night Football. What a freaking experience! So a lot of people, so I tweeted out, and I'll pull it up here. I gave my thoughts about Jacksonville, and you can read it on there. But I had a great experience with the city was beautiful. The weather was perfect. It was in the 60s, so it wasn't too hot. It still felt a little bit cooler, so that was really nice. But my honest experience about Jacksonville is, number one, people say they don't have fans. Completely false. One of the loudest stadium environments I've ever been in. I don't know if you could hear it on TV or not, but me and my friend Peyton and my girlfriend, we were there when they dimmed the lights out, and they put like these things on your cell phones, so it would dim the entire stadium teal, which was super cool. And it was just extremely loud, even though a quarter of the stadium was Ravens fans.
I feel like I heard a lot of Ravens fans when like Ravens would make a big play. Like I thought that they were just as loud as the Jacksonville or the Jaguars fans on TV at least. But
yeah, I mean, after the game,
Ravens flag definitely showed up.
They showed up, and we went to a hotel to get lunch. It's called Margaritaville. Jimmy Buffett. I didn't know he had a hotel, and I was so jealous. Right on the beach, obviously. Really cool place. And we asked these people at the bar, there were so many Ravens fans around us. We're like, is this like the place? And they're like, yeah, there's over 500 Ravens fans staying at this hotel. So there's this like Ravens tailgate that they do, and these people like follow them around. I mean, the flock showed up. Second thing about Jacksonville Jaguars fans is it is one of the worst experiences I've ever had with opposing fans. We ran into I know some people had some questions about things that were said. Yeah. So
even worse than Steelers fans?
Like, it was way worse. Wow. 110% worse. Wow. So story time, we had this old man behind us. He was probably in his 70s. And he was cool at first, you know, he was rooting for his team. But then Peyton next to us, he started screaming in Peyton's ear, defense, no joke, 30 minutes straight, right in his ear, like came up in his ear and just started saying, defense, like right in his ear. And he's like, F Lamar Jackson. Like you could tell he had some deep thoughts about Lamar Jackson. And anyway, after the game, you know, every Ravens fan was screaming, hey, 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 goodbye. So I started singing with them. I wasn't singing to the Jacksonville Jaguars fans. I was looking towards the field doing it. So I wasn't like turning around, getting in anybody's face. He started calling me a pipsqueak. I told him that I'm going to send him to a retirement home if he ever says that to me ever again. And we almost got into a fight there. And then after the game, someone said something to my girlfriend, which was really, really bad. He said something like completely sexual, like completely rude. Shout out to, I Actually, I won't shout him out, but somebody did step up and help me out on that end. So, I mean, in general, stadium, really cool. Fans were there, showed out, really rude, but cool environment in all honesty. And the Ravens got the win, and they are officially the best team in the NFL, or second best team, tied with the best, whatever you want to say about it.
Yeah. So I guess before we move on from that, like, other than the Ravens obviously winning, what would you say your favorite part was of the entire trip?
Including staying in Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You were down there for quite a few days.
Yeah, we were there for 4 nights. Honestly, my favorite part of the entire trip was it was probably the game, because it rained so much, so we didn't get to go out and do too much. But I would say probably the stadium and the food were the 2 coolest things. I mean, the stadium gets shit on. I don't know if you've seen people talk about the stadium and how much it sucks.
I definitely don't hear about it.
Yeah, and people say like Jacksonville needs to move to England or to London, wherever it is, all the time, and they're like, they need to relocate. Dude, they do not need to relocate. Yeah. And I mean, the food at the stadium was probably my favorite. We had chicken tacos, and it was really cool. So that was probably my best experience.
I think Jacksonville might be my favorite mascot in the whole league, though.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
Super cool. Yeah. Did you also
How much do you think they pay him for him to jump off the roof?
Oh, dude, that was insane. I couldn't believe that he did that. Yeah. Like, everybody was going nuts, and then they were like, turn your attention up. Dude, he was like all the way on top of the stadium.
Yeah, it's like, insane. Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't believe you couldn't pay me a certain amount of money to ever do that. And apparently he does it almost every game. So yeah, really impressive.
Yeah, no, that's insane. But I guess moving on and rewinding to a statement you just made about the Ravens being the best team in the NFL.
They are.
I think they're about to face the other possible best team in the NFL in the 49ers.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about that one?
I'm back and forth. So when the game ended against Jacksonville, I was thinking to myself, the game doesn't. So in all reality, the game doesn't matter. For the Ravens, the game means absolutely nothing. It doesn't hurt their conference record, doesn't hurt their division record. Even if they lose and Miami wins, they play Miami the next week. Either way, Miami's probably going to win this week. So that one's the bigger game, in my opinion, on New Year's Eve. That should probably be moved to Sunday Night Football, because that's going to decide who gets the number 1 seed no matter what. Now, back to this game. I was like, dude, San Francisco it's time for the Ravens to lose. But I have some thoughts. I'll let you go first, but I think Baltimore actually has a really good chance of winning this game.
I think out of all of the teams that 49ers have faced and people were like, oh, this could be a game, I think Baltimore has the better chance. But I just feel like 49ers are on a different level than everyone else.
I know. It feels like it. But the defenses that they've played, it's like,
Yeah, and the thing about it is, like, the Ravens, like, it's either – I feel like they're never a team that's going to, like, wow you and blow someone out besides like the Lions or something like that. Like, they're always going to play to their competition, which is kind of a bad thing, but also like most of the time, especially this season, they come out on top and they're the better team that day. But man, watching the 49ers, I don't know what you do. Like, I know everyone's saying Brock Purdy MVP or whatever. I think, and even he said it himself, CMC should be the MVP in my opinion. Like, it's gonna be a fun game for sure, and I'll be watching it with my brother, who's a diehard 49ers fan. Thank God that you two won't be together.
I don't think we can. I might text him before the game and say good luck or something.
Yeah, but I think the fact that you guys have to travel to the West Coast is definitely not in your favor. And in a way, like you just said, this game doesn't mean that much. I think if 49ers win this game, I would say they pretty much clinch the number 1 seed. Yeah, not actually, but they have their final 2 games are the Commanders.
Yeah, they're going to win that one, I think.
And then the Rams. So that one's a divisional game, whatever, but they're definitely going to win next week. So, and if they do, they're definitely going to clinch number 1 seed. And the Eagles and Cowboys, like, they're just trying to give up the NFC East.
Both of them. My God, I don't know who's going to win that division, but for the implications of this game, this is one of the craziest late season matchups that we've ever seen. So, Pro Football Talk, here's a tweet that they put out. Ravens 49ers is a rare late season game matching teams tied for the NFL's best record. It's the first time that two teams with a share of the best record in the NFL has met this late in the season since Cowboys Giants in the finale of the 1993 season. So this is the first time since 1993 this late in the season that the two best teams are playing against each other. And it's going to break records for the amount of viewers. It's on Christmas. I mean, the schedule makers were cooking. They cooked.
Yeah. I mean, what a better way to end Christmas Day, honestly. I know. Like with the game of the year.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, well, we'll see about you.
We'll see. Yeah. But about the Ravens, so I've read some statistics about the Ravens 49ers matchup that is actually like intrigued me, and I thought that people might be interested in this because the 49ers have been so good. And the reason why they're so good is because of their elite pre-snap motion, elite play action execution, elite zone running, elite screen game. So they're good at all of those things. And that's what makes Kyle Shanahan so damn good at just being a head coach in the NFL. I know that he's had problems in the playoffs and blowing leads and all that stuff, but he is the greatest offensive mind we might have ever seen in the past probably 10 years or so. And the Ravens are really good. They're one of the best teams against motion, against play action, against zone runs, and against screens. So one of them has to give. So I think that people are going to be underwhelmed because I think this is going to be a defensive matchup of the decade. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game at all.
Yeah, I don't think it will either. And honestly, looking at the stats and everything, I think the Ravens, I wouldn't say by far, but have the better defense. So, and I don't obviously he's not going to go away from all of this, but like you just said, he's one of the greatest minds offensively that we've seen in a long time.
So he'll scheme something around that.
He's going to be ready. Yeah. He's going to see your weaknesses, like whatever they are. Like I would say probably your corners are probably your weakness. Like your front seven is playing phenomenal football right now. So I don't know. Maybe it's going spread, getting CMC out of the backfield and just going 5 wide and just making you guys only rush a few guys and have them cover.
That's a good idea.
I think that's probably we'll probably see a lot of that. But also he's going to test you guys on these things and see if he can play that smash mouth football. But the Ravens are known for being just as tough on defense. So
yeah. So here's the thing: is I don't think San Francisco is as good against these tougher teams. I do think they are a tough team, but I think they're more star heavy than they are. Like the Ravens are more of like that. Like they love that underdog mentality. They want to hit you in the mouth. Like they have those dogs on defense. I mean, Fred Warner maybe. But I feel like that San Francisco kind of has the same problems as Baltimore on the defensive side. Like their corners aren't very good either, but they have an elite front line. So they're very similar in all of these things. But I think the difference maker in this game, honestly, is going to be Kyle Hamilton, just because he's probably the best safety in the NFL. He's a Swiss Army knife. He's able to stack the box. He's able to cover any receiver that you want. I mean, maybe not elite, like he probably can't shadow Deebo Samuel, but if you put him in good positions, he's going to succeed. Yeah. So
honestly, I'm there. This kid is something. Like other than Lamar Jackson, he's my favorite person to watch on the Baltimore Ravens because he's everywhere and he does everything. Like
it's crazy, and he's huge.
Yeah,
it's just crazy how fast he is.
There's
how big he is, but pause.
There's certain series where he just takes over and makes the play every single time, whether he's rushing the quarterback and sacking him, making a coverage play, making a good tackle. Like the kid is good, and he's only getting better. So that's exciting. But
yeah, I mean, the thing about Purdy, so I put this out too, is Purdy's played really well this year. Probably deserves the MVP, but not over Christian McCaffrey, like you said. We said Tyreek Hill 2 weeks ago. It's crazy how much it's changed. Like every week, my mind changes on who the MVP is. But the thing about Purdy, the thing that the San Francisco 49ers do well is they run the ball so damn well that they do really well in play action. They do super well spreading them out and doing like different motions and making you think they're going to run the ball. So I think the key for the Baltimore Ravens to win is obviously they're going to have to stop Christian McCaffrey, which is tough in itself, but they have to put Brock Purdy in situations where he has to throw the football. And that's not discriminating what he's done this year. He's been incredible throwing the football, but I haven't seen him throw the ball 45 times in a game and win. He's only won 2 games throwing the ball over 30 times. And I think that if you put the ball in his hands and make him go win it without McCaffrey or a run game, I think that's the best way for the Ravens to win. And that's not saying he's been bad. I'm just saying we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. I mean, Brock Purdy's a phenomenal player. Like we're not trying to discredit him at all, but I see your point, and he plays best when that play action game is available, and like he's able to make those tight passes and put the ball where it needs to happen. But like you said, like he's only won twice when having to throw more than 30 times.
Yeah,
is what you said.
Yeah, the 2 wins were against Seattle, which has one of the worst pass defenses I've ever seen in my life, and the Giants earlier in the year when their defense was giving up 40 points a game. It was like a record.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm leaning 49ers. I apologize, but
no, that's fair.
I feel like they're juggernauts, and like the Ravens, like I said, the Ravens, like I just don't know about them. Like there's certain games where like they just play to their competition, and like I know that that's kind of just like what they do, and that most of the time they come out on top. But if they don't come out and match 49ers intensity and like everything like that, like I'm not feeling great about the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I'm leaning Ravens because I feel like it's going to be a defensive matchup, and when you put Baltimore in defensive matchups, they win. But I wouldn't be surprised if they lose, and I honestly won't be that upset if they lose. But I want to beat them so damn bad. I just want to make a statement. And also, I think if Lamar wins this game, he has and he plays well, I think he has a true chance to actually slip into that one spot for the MVP candidate. Did you watch him last week? I mean, the stat sheet, here's what pisses me off. Here's another thing, right? So Shannon Sharp went on to ESPN, and he's like, Lamar went like 14 of 21 with 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Are you watching the games though?
Yeah.
Like
I saw Dan Orlovsky like coming out and basically, are you watching the games? Like,
yeah.
Watch the games.
Do you think there's no way he's actually watching the games? Because the way the problem with the Ravens is their offensive line, Ronnie Stanley's been terrible. He has to make plays out of nothing, and that's why he's in the MVP conversation, not because of his statistics, and that's why he won't win it. But I mean, I sometimes wonder, do you wonder a lot if these analysts or whatever, do you think that they actually watch these games, or do you think they're like so busy? Like Shannon Sharp's a big star, so he probably goes out, has a couple drinks, probably, skips some games. Like,
well,
I don't know.
I don't know if you've seen these podcasts he does with Ocho Cinco, but he's doing some wild shit.
Yeah, he's crazy.
So, I mean, hearing that, like, I don't like other than Lamar, like that was a somewhat boring game, but because of him, I was very entertained.
Right.
Like, how much scrambling he did, and like that one to the pass he threw to Isaiah Likely, like
that was more on Isaiah though.
Yeah,
I mean, people aren't giving him as much
like,
credit.
Lamar like was literally like had to duck down, spin out of a sack. Like there was like any other quarterback in the league is getting sacked there. Like,
right.
So that, and then he was able to just kind of chuck it up, and Isaiah Likely just head top 2 guys or whatever. But
did you see the defensive lineman after that play? Yeah. Like he was sitting there like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do?
Some lip reader said the guys are like, how did you do that? Or
right.
something like that.
It's just crazy. And shout out Isaiah Likely too. I mean, my God, dude, they haven't skipped a step without Mark Andrews. And imagine if they had it, dude. It just makes you wonder.
What is his timeline still for him to come back in the playoffs?
I hope so. I saw Jeff Zaribrick. He is a very well-known beat writer for The Athletic for the Baltimore Ravens. Great guy, comes after people, keeps it straight. And he was like, if they get a bye week, he was like, there's probably not a chance he plays in the divisional round, but he didn't answer if there's a chance in the AFC Championship. I will tell you this, knowing Mark Andrews and the player that he is, if he has any sort of chance to play in the Super Bowl, he's going to play. Even if it's for a couple snaps, he's going to play. Yeah, for sure. He's a dog. All right, speaking of some other games this past weekend, the Eagles lost their 3rd straight game on Monday night. So to let you know how crazy their schedule has been, they have had the toughest gauntlet I've ever seen. They beat the Cowboys, they beat the Chiefs, and they beat the Bills. And you're sitting here like, I don't know about them because they were winning these games barely, and now they're starting to show their true colors a little bit, losing to the 49ers 42-19, Cowboys 33-13, and Seahawks 20-17. Initial thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles?
So I don't know. I don't. they got to figure it the fuck out. But I will say, like, that's probably the toughest 5-6 games like that any team has played this season. Like to play the Cowboys and they barely won that game. To play the Chiefs, like that was a close one as well. To beat the Bills, who have emerged and started to get hot. Like and then so it's like understandable that they would drop 1 or 2, but like to lose 3 straight to a mediocre Seattle team like,
with a backup quarterback.
Drew Lock. With Drew Lock being in the game. I don't like. I thought that their biggest problem was their defense, but it's starting to look like their offense. Also,
it's starting to look like both. It's like they just are inconsistent on both sides. You don't know which team you're going to get. They just haven't put it together
yet.
This
most recent loss, I don't blame it on the defense at all. Like, I mean, to hold a team at 20 points when you have that many playmakers on offense, like you expect that. And they started the game and drove right down the field and scored 7 points. Like, and then after that, it was just like points were hard to come by. And like a lot of that, it looked like self-inflicted wounds and stuff. Like, they were 3rd and 1, and Jason Kelce had a false start where he moved the ball forward before snapping the ball. But I just with all that star power on that offense, they got to figure it out. And this most recent game, like I'm putting it a majority on Jalen Hurts. Like they had every opportunity to win that game, especially at the end, and he just throws 2 picks that were unnecessary. Like,
I just don't understand. Well, I think I'm with you on Jalen. He hasn't played well at all. But I will defend Jalen with my life. And here's how I'm going to defend Jalen Hurts is that Brian Johnson, the offensive coordinator, has been – and we said this from week 1. We sat here and watched it because we had a bet on Jalen Hurts over his passing attempts or something. And – it's just insane the play calls that he has. He runs the ball when they're not in 3rd and long situations. He'll throw the ball when it's unnecessary down the field. It's just insanity of what kind of play calling they're getting out.
I want to know how many times this season that he's called a QB draw on 3rd and like 6 or something
insane.
Like that. Like, and even on the Manning cast, I don't know if you saw it. CMC predicted that they were going to do a QB draw on like 3rd and 8 or whatever it was.
I didn't see that.
And he called it to a T pretty much. And it's just because that guy is like Brian Johnson is just so predictable. Like, and he's just calling these like terrible play calls in the most unnecessary like situations. Like I get it, like certain 3rd and longs, like sure, we'll throw a wide receiver screen and see what happens, but like
too many of those.
Too many of them.
Way
like,
too many. It's like they try to like make it work like no matter what. It feels like their game plan is the same going into every single game.
Yeah, it really does not seem like they are like he's game planning for the specific defenses that they're going up against. Like you just said, I feel like it's the same play calls in the same situations every single week.
Right.
And like, I also saw a clip that Nick Bosa was talking about, like how to slow him down.
The
or
blueprint, right?
Yeah,
he said they found the blueprint.
And after that, I mean, two other straight losses, and it just seems like that offense is not there. So maybe the 49ers did figure them out, and maybe they're just.
I think they fired because they fired their defensive coordinator silently throughout the week and hired Matt Patricia. I think they fired the wrong coordinator, in my opinion. I don't think it was ever the defensive coordinator's fault. I thought it was the players not playing up to their standard.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the defense did not look much different from making that change. And like, I don't think they like promoted him up to the box or something like that, and then they had Matt Patricia calling plays.
Yeah, it makes
but it
no
did not
sense.
look any different. Like,
yeah. Well, just speaking of how bad Brian Johnson has been this season or the past 3 games, here's some statistics I saw that just completely blew my mind. The Eagles faced the number 26 ranked defense in the NFL and managed to score just 17 points after gaining 321 yards. This is the first time in the Nick Sirianni era that the Eagles have failed to score at least 20 points in 3 consecutive games. And then it says during the 3-game losing streak, the Eagles offense has scored 19, 6, and 17. The last time the Eagles went 3 straight games without scoring 20 points was the 2020 season, and that was a 4-game losing streak that ended up being the last 4 starts of Carson Wentz's career. And I found this meme, and I'll pull it up. I think you can see it up here. But it says the Eagles hire under-the-radar rookie head coach who has met with underwhelmed skepticism, which is Doug Peterson and Nick Sirianni. And then the head coach hires Chargers offensive coordinator with multiple years prior experience and proven competence, which is Frank Wright. They hired Shane Steichen. In year 1 with young quarterbacks is up and down, but shows signs of progress, which was the 2020 season. I believe that was the first year of those 2 together. And then major roster improvements, including number 1 wide receiver and edge rusher A.J. Brown and Alshon Jeffrey. I mean, if you just look at this, like it looks like a similar path of what is happening right now. And a lot of people are calling for Jalen Hurts' head, but I just don't see how it's all his fault. I know that he's not playing well, but
yeah, and I'm not there. Like I said, that was like I said, that was probably the toughest 5-game schedule like they've like any team could play. And also coming in this game, like they said, he was sick. Like he didn't even travel with the team. He came in on like Saturday or like Sunday morning or something like
got that dog.
Something crazy like that. Like he was not fully there. And I think a lot of that, like he was running the ball a lot more. So I'm sure he's pretty fatigued and everything. So I'm not blaming Jalen at all. And I don't think anything like they should make a change anytime soon.
No. And I saw somebody say that Marcus, I forget who it was. It was Derek Carr's freaking brother. I fucking cannot stand him. Carr, yeah. He's awful. He said that Marcus Mariota should start. Do you remember watching Marcus Mariota? He had a chance with the Falcons last year with all of that talent around him, and he stunk, and he left the damn team. Yeah. Like just suddenly, and you're just going to turn. That was the most insane thing that I've ever seen. I just don't know. Jalen has... Listen, there are players that have that dog in them, and there are players that don't have that dog in them. Jalen's one of those players that has that dog in him, and I believe he will turn it around.
No, I still as much as I hate him, like I think Jalen is one of the most composed and most just like if you need to go win a game, he will. Obviously, this past week was not a good example of that, but
it was a bad play call.
It was.
Did you see what? Speaking of that, did you see what Nick Sirianni said after the game or the next day? He said that the play call was intended to get a pass interference. There is no way in hell that you draw up a play to rely on the referee. That's insanity.
Was that on the final interception?
Yeah, the final interception. They said that he needed to throw the ball to A.J. Brown. That was scripted like that so they can try and draw a PI penalty and get into field goal range.
They didn't even need that many yards to get in the field goal range. So
they had, I think, 2 or 3 timeouts. I think it was 2 timeouts. They could have thrown the ball over the middle. Yeah. I mean, I'm
well, that takes a lot because a lot of people were saying like, why the hell is he trying to make this downfield play? But he was told to do that. Like
that's what
people don't understand this. Like unless you are like a fucking like. I mean, I don't even know if he has it yet, but like Patrick Mahomes, like most of the time you're listening to what the offensive coordinator like installs. Like you have, if you really don't understand, like you have reads like every single play. You have your first read, your second read, like etc. And most of the time it's like there's plays like that where it's like it doesn't matter, just throw it to that first read. We're trying to get a pass interference. So
and it looked like it too. Yeah. It looked like he knew he was going there the entire time. But you mentioned the Manning cast. I cannot stand the Manning cast. It has to be one of the worst experiences on TV trying to watch football I've ever seen. Like, I just cannot sit there and listen to these 2 guys, Peyton and Eli, just be so damn monotone. Like, they have no excitement. They're like trying to read the play and explain it to you too much instead of getting excited over the big plays. Like, it just pisses me off how people like that shit.
Yeah. No, I'm there with you. And like, I love the Manning brothers. I do. But, it's like, and they have their moments where it's like funny or whatever, but it's like you only get like maybe 2 or 3 of those the entire game, and the rest of it's most of them just like being silent.
Right.
Like they're just
sitting there watching.
Yeah.
Like it's one of us just sitting here.
Rather than like I tried it. I did even like and ever since I started, like I try to watch a few games, but I'd rather hear Joe Buck and Troy Aikman talk than those two.
The Joe Buck hate is insane, dude. Yeah. He's the best in the game. I think he's better than maybe. Jim Nance is up there too. Yeah. I think those 2 go hand in hand with each other.
Al Michaels used to be my favorite, but ever since he just seems like he's checked out. I don't think he wants to do it anymore.
What the hell happened to Al Michaels? He was so much fun. Like when you put Sunday Night Football, you thought immediately, oh my God, we get Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. And now it's like, and I mean, Sunday Night Football has done an incredible job with Mike Tirico. He's incredible too. Yeah. I love him. But he just doesn't pair well with Chris Collinsworth like Al Michaels did. Maybe the Thursday Night Football thing got to him or something.
Yeah, I'm sure he got a pretty good chunk of change for that, and now he's just like, whatever. Like, I've got the deal. So yeah, and he's getting up there in age. Like I think, and he's done this for I don't know how long. Like,
did you see they took him off the playoff roster or whatever? Al Michaels.
I did see that. Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah. And people used to beg for Al Michaels on playoff football. Like they were like, that's the biggest game, when Al Michaels is on there.
The one thing I love about, I guess Troy Aikman paired with Joe Buck, like Troy Aikman is not scared to call out these referees.
Oh,
Like,
he's a dog.
he is. He does not give a single fuck. Like like even this past game, like they went to commercial break, like the referees were just discussing something the entire commercial break, and he came back and was like, I just don't understand what's going on. Like they haven't even made an announcement or nothing. Like just come on now. And like I think last week he went in on them, but this week I'm assuming he got said like, hey, don't do that. Like
Yeah.
And so he's like, that's all I'll say. Like he is not scared to call them out, and rightfully. Like these refs, I feel like have been the worst since I can remember.
Yeah,
like,
it's been really bad.
Yeah,
but yeah, Troy Aikman's a dog for that.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Troy Aikman. He definitely has been coked up before on the shows for sure.
But man, this Eagles team better figure it out. And what frustrates me, I guess, is like I kind of feel like they're similar to the Chiefs right now, where they're just like they're still trying to figure it out. But like earlier in the season when they were on that like good run and everything, it's like they just kept saying we just haven't played our best ball yet. And I just feel like at this point they're regressing.
Right.
And this is the worst time to do it. Like we're 3 weeks away from the playoffs, or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, yeah.
But I feel like usually you see teams start off slow, and the ones that win the Super Bowl, they end up surging within those like last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I feel like if the Chiefs and Eagles figure it out within the last 3 weeks, they're going to go on a semi-run.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're Super Bowl contenders, but they could go on a run and win the Super Bowl. Like I could see either of them do it.
And they have the experience, especially. I mean, that's basically for the most part, it's the same team that went on that run last year. So they have the experience. It's not like they haven't been there. So if they figure it out in these last few games, like look out. But right now, I don't know.
Yeah, and speaking of the NFC East, I mean, we talked about earlier, them damn Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? They lose 31-10, and Josh Allen had a total of 94 yards. I was super impressed with Buffalo. It was honestly the most impressive win for Buffalo all year, and I was the most impressed with Josh Allen all year, which blows my mind. So James Cook, 25 carries, 179 yards. Josh Allen, the reason why I thought it was his most impressive performance because he didn't play hero ball. The entire game, he knew James Cook was cooking. He even said after the game, he said James was cooking, and he cooked.
Let James cook.
Yeah, that's what he said. And I just feel like Josh Allen, like I think over these last couple weeks, like I felt like that he has taken a step back, and Joe Brady has done a good job of saying just take what's in front of you, and they just keep winning games.
Yeah, no, I'm like I said, I've been high on the Bills for a while now.
Even when you've been riding that train.
Well, even when you wrote them off, and like I don't know with I don't know, I can't remember who the Dolphins have this week, but I said it last week that if the
Dolphins have Dallas.
Right. Okay. So I said if the Bills beat Dallas, that the Bills are going to win that division. Now it's pretty tough with only 3 weeks to go. I think the Dolphins still have to lose another one. So
yeah.
And after seeing how the Bills just boat raced the Cowboys, like Cowboys should probably be worried about that explosive offense.
I think they're gonna win.
I don't know. I think we were very high on the Cowboys. Like they were coming off some pretty good wins and everything and looking good.
It just felt like they came out flat from the beginning. Like it just felt like they thought they were going to go in there and win, and they were cruising a little bit. That's why I think they kind of needed that loss. I don't see it as big as everybody else does because I'm thinking to myself, like, it's bad coaching. And I think Mike McCarthy probably learned a lesson from that, like saying, hey, we need to come out with that underdog mentality of like, oh, we've lost these big games. We need to prove them wrong. When they had that mentality, like they were steamrolling these teams.
Yeah.
So I feel like this week is I said the same thing last week. I said that Dallas was going to come out flat, and I said Buffalo was going to win that game. I think it's the opposite this week. I think Dallas comes out after an embarrassing loss and wins that game against Miami.
Yeah, I mean, they better hope so. But I just and really, like I watched at least most of that game, and really it was 31-3. Like that last touchdown was just like a pity. Like it was in the last like 2 minutes of the game or whatever, and Dak was able to lead him down there for a touchdown or whatever. But I mean, I would argue that it's not really an argument at all. The Miami Dolphins have probably the most explosive offense in the league.
Yeah,
so,
and I mean, not to get on Miami, but like they played the New York Jets.
Yeah, that's,
so it's like
I was gonna say we should talk about. Wow, I guess they really are not that bad without Tyreek Hill. But looking, like I went and looked at that game, like the Jets maybe had 20 20 to 30 plays on offense. Like the offense just could not keep the ball in their hands.
Well, that's exactly. They were turning the ball over. They were taking too many sacks.
I think their longest drive was 7 plays or something like that.
Right, exactly. And it's like the defense was tired.
When your defense is on the field that long, it doesn't matter who you're playing. You're going to lose the game.
Right. And I keep seeing Dolphins fans saying like, oh, like we finally beat a good defense. But like the defense can't be at its best unless it's rested. So I'm like, I'm still not impressed. And they're going to be like, oh, you're moving the goalpost every single time. Like every single team with a good offense this season and with a decent team, the Miami Dolphins have lost. So, I just don't trust them against this Cowboys defense who is going to look for blood this next week. I just don't see it at all. But do you see the Buffalo Bills as a top team in the AFC? I have seen it swirling around that people are saying they're the best team in the AFC, which I think is bonkers, but I'll let you elaborate since you like riding the Bills so much.
Yeah, I think right now, honestly, the hottest team for sure.
Hottest team, I'll give you that.
Yeah, because not just wins wise, like the Ravens. The Ravens are obviously on a pretty good streak here. But
8-1, not to count. 8-1.
But the Bills just look more impressive to me at this very moment, and I guess maybe if
more
the
impressive
Ravens,
than the Ravens.
I think just like firepower wise, like they're blowing out some teams and they're winning games that like people like counted them off wise. Like I feel like Ravens are going into every game being the favorite, and like maybe the Bills have too, but I don't know, for them to come out and boat race the Cowboys, like I just thought that was very impressive. If the Ravens somehow beat the 49ers, I will say hands down that they're the best team in the league, and I'll switch them to being the hottest team in the league as well, or the hottest team in the AFC at least. But I just, like I said, I thought that the Bills, if they could figure it out, and it seems like they have, like they're going to be a team to watch out for. Like they just have, and especially now, like you said, like Josh Allen's seems like he's figured it out. I'm not entirely sure about that. Like that he's not playing hero ball.
Right.
But like if he's able to do that and still win these games, and like James Cook keeps doing this, like gotta watch out because Josh Allen can be dangerous. Like and he can make those throws. But at the same time, like he's also suspect to making a bad decision and doing an interception. So
you want me to tell you how this is going to end? The Bills are going to get into the playoffs. They're going to feel good, confident. Josh Allen is going to have his confidence even higher. He's going to make mistakes in the playoffs and he's going to lose. And Josh Allen has had great playoff performances. So I'm not saying he's a bad playoff performer because honestly, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the playoffs. He's one of the guys that I would take to win me one game in the playoffs. But I'm telling you, those accidents that he makes with turnovers, it's not going to go away completely. I feel like when they start feeling more comfortable and wanting to throw the ball downfield more, they start winning these games, they're going to make mistakes, and I just don't see them winning. But Josh Allen, so he's my quarterback on this team. So this was insane. Rashad Mendenhall, I'm going to pull up the tweet. Rashad Mendenhall said that basically he doesn't understand why white people are talking football as analysts because black people are way more athletic, and a black versus white team, the black team would absolutely kill the white team. So I thought, well, why don't we just see exactly what it would look like? And honestly, I think it's a lot closer than what we think.
I agree. And like for him to say that, that's just that's bold. And he didn't
he's kind of not wrong. I
get where it's like the NFL is carried by black people. I'm gonna be honest, for sure. But like it just was very rude. Like he came out and said, "Average white people talking ball. Like y'all have never been good at it. Like come on now. Like watch your mouth." Like,
we've had some good ball players. I feel like we've shown up.
I mean, I don't want to like everyone's on a consensus that CMC is the best running back in the league. So we'll hop into what our teams are and we'll discuss what we think would happen.
Yeah. So I created an all white NFL team and Jake created an all black NFL team. And if whatever team you guys think is better, go ahead and comment below. But let's dissect this a little bit. So for my team, for the all white team, quarterback Josh Allen. Could go Joe Burrow, but with this team and how I built it, I wanted physicality and I wanted someone who can run the football and take big shots against those disgusting defenders that you're going to have on your team. Christian McCaffrey, obviously the best running back in the league, best white running back maybe ever by the end of it. Fullback, I had Kyle Juszczyk. Wide receiver 1, Cooper Kupp, Triple Crown winner, top 3 in the league when he's healthy. I mean, he's dirty. he can keep up with the best of them. Now, here's where it gets a little bit funky. Wide receiver 2, I have Adam Thielen. Not great, but when he's had some good performances this year. I feel like he could maybe show up. Wide receiver 3, I had Hunter Renfrow. Not great, but at one point he was known as one of the best route runners in the game. So maybe we get vintage Hunter Renfrow on our team. Now, tight ends, this is where we absolutely dominate.
100%. Yeah.
Dominate. Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews. I would probably put Hunter Renfrow on the bench and put one of those two at wide receiver 3 and put the other one at tight end. So I feel good about Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews both on the field. They're just both great receiving tight ends. You can even throw George Kittle in there if you want to. Center, Creed Humphrey. Left guard, Quentin Nelson. Right guard, Zach Martin. Right tackle, Lane Johnson. And left tackle, David Bakhtiari when he's healthy. Now it gets pretty bad.
I'm eager to see what you got here.
So defensive line is disgusting. I know a lot of people are saying Max Crosby deserves to be on the black team, just because of his slip up of almost saying the word on one of. That's crazy that they allowed that to happen. And Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa. So I got the Bosa brothers and T.J. Watt. Linebackers, it's all right. Matt Milano, Logan Wilson. Now, safety and defensive back, I had N.A. So there hasn't been a starting cornerback who is white, a starting corner who is white since 2003, I think. So we're kind of cooked there. So I'm thinking I'm going to take some of the offensive players who are skillful, like Christian McCaffrey, maybe put him at DB. I saw that Will Compton said that.
That's where Hunter Renfrow goes.
Yeah, Hunter Renfrow.
Maybe he's a dog.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't know.
We do have
Josh Allen.
We do have he's pretty damn good. He's not in the league yet, but there's an Iowa.
The Iowa DB.
Yeah, maybe you have to call him up to the big leagues. Maybe you have to call him up to the big leagues. I don't know.
So that's where the white team gets cooked. Like, it wouldn't even be close because I know the receivers.
Harrison Smith, he's a solid safety, but
I guess
he's the only one I can really think of. Reed Blankenship is kind of a fraud, but at least he actually starts as a secondary person.
We got kickers though.
That's true.
I don't know if there's any black kicker in the league.
I think that's an underrated thing that people are not thinking about.
Yeah, Justin Tucker.
Kickers win games. Yeah.
Yeah. There's plenty. I mean, all of them. You could literally put all of them. I don't think there is one
black punter. Is the Steelers punter.
The Steelers punter.
That's the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
There's definitely. I mean,
it's some
debate. It's the debate about the races. Like, are the Asians on the black team or are they on the white team? Like Young Hoku?
Yeah, Young Hoku. Yeah, is also mixed people. So we kept mixed people out of this, obviously, because there was a comment by somebody saying, "Where's Patrick Mahomes go?" We just take him out of this game. He's just not allowed.
Yeah. So I'll move on. So I did the all black team in our white versus black Pro Bowl.
This would be so cool.
I'm there with him on that point. Like, the Pro Bowl sucks now. Honestly.
Yeah,
I'm not
so
a fan.
Cool.
So let's get this together. Let's run it. I want to see what happens. So since you said we can't, the blacks can't have Mahomes since we're leaving them out. Lamar Jackson, obviously.
Okay.
He's gonna be our QB.
Okay.
And then a running back, I'm taking Nick Chubb.
Okay.
And then I'm not doing a fullback because we're gonna be throwing the ball a lot. Because you're cooked. The whites are cooked in the secondary.
Literally have nobody.
So I got Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams.
Okay.
And then here at the tight end, I'm going
Darren Waller,
right? Or Pitts. I think Waller. And then at the tackles, I'm taking Trent Williams and Laramie Tunsil.
Man, I forgot about Trent Williams.
Yep. And then at guards, I'm taking, I might mispronounce his name, Mike Owenewu.
Mike Owenewu?
Yeah.
I think, who's he play for?
I think the Vikings.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. And then Elton Jenkins plays for the Packers. And then at center, we got Eric McCoy. Don't ask me who he plays for.
He plays for Saints.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
I'm not even sure where those last three because honestly, I just only know white offensive linemen. But hey, they're dogs. Trust me, I did my research.
You got dogs at the tackles, though.
Yeah,
nobody's getting hit from the blind side.
And then moving over to defense. So we got on the edge, we got Myles Garrett. We got Michael Parsons.
That's dirty.
That's scary. And the inside, Aaron Donald, Chris Jones, and Chris Jones. And at the corners, we got Sauce Gardner, Jalen Ramsey, and Jair Alexander. I know you're gonna say he's mixed, but I looked it up. His parents are both black. I looked it up. I found a picture from his draft day of his parents. They're both black.
Bro went deep
I
in
did.
the bag.
I did. And then at our safety position, I got Derwin James and Minka Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
Linebackers, Fred Warner,
Okay.
Roquan Smith,
Oh, dirty.
Demario Davis.
Okay. So
Kicker and punter, couldn't tell you.
So if I was the coach of the all-white team, my strategy would be to basically allow the all-black team to score every single possession. So I would run no corners. Hear me out here. I'd let them score on the first play every single time. First of all, we can't get embarrassed because they're wide open. So we're not going to get embarrassed there. And then on the offensive side, we're going to play time of possession. We're just going to hold the ball the entire game because we got a dog at running back. We got a running quarterback. We got great offensive linemen. We can throw some slants in there, throw some mini passes in there, but your DBs are locked down. Yeah. So I'm like, let's just run the ball. And let's hold the ball and play time of possession. We pick up a couple first downs, run out the clock, score, let them score automatically, hold the ball. As long as we get the ball the last possession, we're winning that game because we got all the kickers.
That's true.
And we're going to win the game 10-7.
Yeah, yeah. No, speaking on that, honestly, if I'm looking at your roster, the only thing I would probably change is I'm taking out Hunter Renfrow and I'm signing George Kittle to the team. I'm bringing him up as well because I'm going to go 14 personnel, and I'm going to have 3 tight ends and a fullback in the game.
And all these tight ends can block.
Exactly.
They're all insane blockers. So you're going to have like 5 tackles on the field at once.
Pretty much. Like Travis Kelce, he's sus with the blocking or whatever, but he can do it when he wants to. Yeah. But like that's why I'm saying I'm calling up George Kittle as well to do that. So like, but right there with you, time of possession.
We're going to need some unselfish wide receivers on this team.
For sure. And I think both of them are. They're both kind of veterans at this point. Like they'll make a play if you need them to. Like don't give me you run the ball the whole time and maybe throw one up to them because I think Cooper Kupp can match up with my guys.
And Hunter Renfrow can block. Like he's a great blocker. Yeah. He's been known for that, and so is Cooper Kupp. Like they're known as good wide receiver blockers. So yeah, that would be my strategy. Yeah. We would win. I mean, the over/under would be set at like 100, just because I've run no DBs. But I'm taking the under. Automatically taking the under in that game.
Yeah. But I just, man, looking at it, this all black team I put together. I mean, it's just like they're all either considered the best at their position, except for offensive linemen. Yeah. But I think the only play that you guys would have on us, like the upper hand, would be the time of possession, like running the ball. In today's league, like I guess for one game it wouldn't really matter, but like a team that's only run heavy, like doesn't make it that long, but for one game might win it for you.
Yeah.
The only weakness I see on our team is probably that interior offensive line. So,
but if I'm like I said, if we have no DBs, you just throw the ball immediately.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
It would be interesting.
You're gonna have to put some guys out there because you got to let those defensive linemen, headhunt because you got some dogs on the defensive line.
Yeah, pass rushers, ton of great pass rushers. I would love to see it. Like Rashad Mendenhall was way out of place for saying that, and it made zero context. But the way that Twitter took it was the most hilarious, one of the most hilarious days on Twitter.
You would think something like that would like drive us apart, but really it's like brought us all together. Like people were having so much fun with like thinking about this. Like I want to see it happen. I really do. Like,
I mean, shout out Rashad Mendenhall for trying to separate us and just the community. Bringing us together. And JJ Watt's the reason why he made the first joke, and then everybody was like running with it. And Will Compton too. He did an awesome job.
I loved his video.
Dude,
that was so good.
So funny. He went into huge detail. If you haven't watched it, please go watch Will Compton's video on the black versus white team. So
his comment about I can't remember exactly what he was relating it to. Maybe our cornerbacks or whatever. Like being like maybe we have a dog out there that we don't realize, like throw him out there, see what happens. He just like said something about it's like the black dude at Harvard. Like you don't think he's smart, but then all of a sudden he's the smartest guy in the class. Like he just comes out of nowhere. Like, that cracked me up.
It was so funny. So go watch that once again if you haven't watched that. Speaking of just incredible things that happened this past weekend, T. Higgins' catch was one of my favorite catches. It's probably the catch of the year. For him to not only catch it over somebody, but to be able to be falling out of bounds and reach with his length over the pylon to score and make sure that he's still in bounds was insanity. So it got me and you thinking, what's our favorite catches of all time? And this is personal favorite catches. Yep. So These are the best catches in NFL history, in our opinion. So these are all opinionated, and this is how you feel about them. It can have, personality to you. It doesn't really have to be the best of the best. But I'll let you go. What are your 5 favorite catches in NFL history?
Okay, so mine is a mix of just like flashy, like insane catches, as well as like what they meant, like whether they were like a game-winning touchdown or something like that. So I'm gonna start at number 5. And I think this one is because I was watching that game and I was like, my like jaw dropped. Like I was like, holy shit. Like Jay Jetta's catch against the Bills last year.
Yeah.
I think it was like 3rd and 18 or something stupid like that.
4th and 18.
4th and 18.
4th down. Yeah.
So it was impact and it was just insane. Like for him to go up and like he had like cup it down, like that was insane. So and then at number 4, I'm going with the legendary The Catch by Dwight Clark in the playoffs against the Cowboys. When I think that was the go-ahead touchdown to win them that game.
Yeah. Even though it was kind of an unimpressive
It
catch.
was. That's where the impact comes in, and like how like they won them the game. It was really not all that great, but I guess it's just like it's been in history, and like it's just like they call it the catch for a reason.
Right.
And then number 3, I have the Julio Jones toe tap catch in the Super Bowl.
Oh wow, I completely forgot about that.
I don't know if you remember that one. Yeah, like that one was so. And I think the next drive was when Julian Edelman had his insane catch.
Yeah.
So I think it just got overshadowed by that. But it was like it's so insane. Like, and that like watching like I went back and watched all these montages of the best catches in NFL history. The amount of times that OBJ and Julio Jones showed up in these is just insane.
Right.
Like I felt like those two have made the most insane catches consistently over their careers than anyone else. Like,
right. And it sucks that Julio played in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because Atlanta, realistically in the NFL world, they were always known as like the smaller market. Like nobody watches Atlanta Falcons games. But the year that they went to the Super Bowl was great because we got to see a lot of Julio Jones and how great he could have been. And he could have been a top 10. I mean, he might, in some people's eyes, like a top 10 wide receiver of all time. Yeah. And it just sucks now that we watch like these older wide receivers and we're like, were they really that good? But when you go back and watch them, Julio Jones was one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah. And then at number 2, I love this guy when he was in the NFL. He won me 3 straight fantasy football championships in a row. So upset when he retired. The Calvin Johnson catch over 3 Bengals.
Oh, yeah. And that was insane.
It was so insane. And, like, you could tune into a game and probably see him do that probably, like, every game. But, like, that one, I don't know what it was. That one was just, like, by far the best. And, like I said, I love that guy. He won me 3 fantasy football championships in a row. Nobody
is ever going to get double-teamed like Calvin Johnson was.
Never.
And if he would have kept playing, he might have been better than Randy Moss. Honestly, like he was like Randy Moss, and I even think talent-wise he might have been better, which is crazy.
I think it sucks because he had a short career, but talent-wise, I think he was the best wide receiver of all time.
Yeah.
And then at number 1, I think there's no question about it, OBJ's catch. Yeah. And you don't have to say any more about that.
My 5 best catches in NFL history, personally, now this is from me actually, so I didn't put any that I've never watched. So I only put the ones that actually happened in my lifetime and I have actually watched. And these ones just changed the aspect of like how I view wide receivers because we've had so many great wide receivers over the years that we've got to watch because of the league changing to a passing league. And number 5, I actually had Randy Moss's one-handed catch against the New York Jets. That completely started, I don't know if it exactly started the Moss thing, but I think more people were saying it after that. They were like, you got mossed. And I remember like going in the backyard trying to emulate it. So that personally like hit me. I was like, I cannot believe he did that in that blowout win. And it was a blowout win too, which kind of took it away as well.
I mean, that's what all kids did. Oh, you just got mossed. And what's crazy now, like my nephew now says, oh, you just got OBJ'd. Like it's so weird.
It's not it's not the same. Yeah, we have to keep that carrying on.
I've tried to teach him that, but OBJ is, I guess he's just the new generation sort of thing.
At number 4, I had Stephon Diggs' touchdown against the Saints in the playoffs. The catch was underrated. In that position, he had one person in front of him, one person in back of him in that situation, and to be able to catch it and stay in bounds, that's part of the catch to me. After the catch, you obviously know what happened. They won the game with no seconds left, but that was one of the most incredible grabs I've ever seen for him to go up with 2 people and to make them miss and stay in bounds. incredible. So he had to be on my list because that's one of the greatest plays in NFL history and NFL playoff history. And then at number 3, I had the helmet catch. So the catch, the New York Giants with the Patriots. The Patriots were 17-0, and in that position to be able to hang on to the ball. Not only that, but to be able to not touch the ground was one of the greatest catches that will ever happen. I don't think anybody can ever emulate that. And that's another catch that a lot of people used to try to emulate themselves, like as a joke. And then at number 2, I had the San Antonio Holmes Super Bowl toe tap catch. A lot of Super Bowl catches in here for me. The San Antonio Holmes, that was something that was just, and I hate Pittsburgh, and I hated that play, but to be able to keep your feet in bounds in that situation, the throw by Ben Roethlisberger, I mean, once again, people emulated that catch and tried to do it every single day. So that's why these catches are on my list.
Probably the greatest toe tap of all time.
The greatest. It started like the toe tap thing. Like I felt like wide receivers weren't doing it as often as they were now, or how special these wide receivers. Yeah. I mean, wide receivers are now taking ballet classes to be able to stay in bounds. And then obviously number 1, the one that changed not only the way wide receivers play, but the way that wide receivers catch the football is OBJ. And his one-handed catch changed the sport. It completely changed how kids viewed how wide receivers should play. It elevated how we see wide receiver play. OBJ absolutely changed the sport of the NFL and changed the position of wide receiver. And honestly, I think he's a Hall of Famer. Just not only based on that catch, but the after effects of him being able to live up to that hype is just absolutely insane. So those are our top 5 NFL catches of all time. And now we got to talk about it. Brandon Staley. Rough. Finally got fired. Finally. After all this time. I felt like he should have gotten fired last year after the playoff loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, 28-7 lead or 28-0 lead. What were your thoughts when he got fired? Did you expect it after that 62-21 loss to the Las Vegas Raiders?
If I'm gonna be honest, I was hoping he got fired at halftime. To be honest, I was hoping he'd be the first coach to ever. Because, like I said, I'm on the same page with you. After blowing that lead that they had in the playoffs last year, I thought he should have been going after last year. And I guess their only thing was trying to bring in a new offense coordinator in Kellen Moore, and they thought maybe things would look better. But I mean, I know Justin Herbert is hurt now, but even before that, like they were not a very good team, and I don't know what it is about them because I thought they had all the potential to be one of the best teams in the NFL.
Agreed.
And we were texting back and forth like with Justin Herbert being out, like the Raiders went up 42-0 at halftime. They set a record for the Raiders for most points scored in the first half,
and most points in their team's like history or something was 62.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what's wrong with that team, to be honest. Maybe, and
well, they had Easton Stick at quarterback, and I don't know.
I understand that, but like, I guess my point is like with Justin Herbert in, like they're not a very good team, like you would think they would be, but like with him out, they're an awful team. Like, but they have guys on their team. Like, I don't understand what their problem is. I think this was long overdue for Brandon Staley to get fired and the GM. So
yeah, the GM has been absolutely awful as well.
I think he should have just got fired over the Quentin Johnston pick, to be honest.
Yeah, and also signing J.C. Jackson to that huge deal as well, and then releasing him basically a year later. My initial thoughts on it is like, why didn't they do it sooner? Like, I get why now. Like, it shouldn't have taken like a 40-point loss to the Raiders to fire him. And the people that are hating on Justin Herbert, like, you should have saw Thursday night, like, why Justin Herbert is so special, because I seriously doubt the Chargers would have lost by that much with Justin Herbert in, because I feel like he would have at least elevated the offense enough to be able to keep the ball out of the Raiders' hands. I just don't know where the Chargers go from here. They can go out and get Jim Harbaugh. That's been speculated a lot. But, I mean, for Brandon Staley to be a defensive-minded head coach and to have one of the worst defenses in the NFL, probably the worst defense in the NFL. And to have Khalil Mack, we forget Khalil Mack's on that team, and Joey Bosa and Derwin James, and they are just stacked across the board on defense. So it has to be something with coaching, unless they're just paying these guys out of the blue and they just start declining automatically. But I just don't see that being the reason. I feel like they should go out and get an offensive-minded head coach. Do you have any head coaches in mind that you think that maybe they can go and get?
No. Someone that I'm not sure about, but I've seen a lot of chatter about, is that Mr. Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot too. I don't know if I like it.
I've heard he's gone after this year. I've heard him and Bob Kraft sat down, and that's apparently come. I saw it on the Pat McAfee show. Apparently, the guy that broke it has a source that's saying that they had a meeting and said, "Hey, this just isn't working out anymore. We're going to try someone new. Like, they're in a bad situation, so why not start fresh?" I've seen a lot of chatter saying I think that comes down to they have the guy. It feels like they have the guys to go win now. So maybe they just need that coach and that GM that has proven that he can win with a good team. So I've heard a lot of chatter that Bill Belichick could be going to LA. I don't see it happening whatsoever. I don't think Bill Belichick is an LA guy at all, and I just don't see him the LA Chargers are such a modern team right now. They're a pass heavy team, and they just seem like a team that Bill Belichick is not accustomed to. So
but maybe they want to go that direction and build a culture with Bill Belichick, and maybe go the Belichick way, the Patriot way. Maybe they want to change it up. I'm with you though. I don't see the fit. I feel like they need someone to really elevate the offense first and really develop Justin Herbert and Quentin Johnston and all of those guys. I mean, Keenan Allen only has so many years left as well. But I don't know. I think that Bill Belichick would, honestly, I think he is an LA guy. I think that truly, deep down, I don't know if you saw him on College Football Game Day. He was great. I think he's actually got a good personality. I think he's just all about football. And I think changing a culture to being that way, to being an LA team and bringing them back down and saying hey, we know we're in LA, but we're about football. I feel like he would really embrace that and say, it's the same with Brady. When Brady left Belichick, left the Patriots, he loved in Florida, became a whole different person. Maybe we see the same thing with Bill Belichick. Maybe he just wants to relax a little bit.
Maybe. And I think both the Patriots and Bill Belichick need a fresh start. And I think like I said, the Chargers have a team that can win now. It's looking at all the talent that they have. Maybe they just need a guy like him to change the culture and to get these guys to play the best football that they can. But
I think Jim Harbaugh is a better fit.
Think so?
Yeah, I think Jim Harbaugh is a better fit, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't see him leaving Michigan. But after all the stuff that's happened this past year and the NCAA just absolutely fucking him,
yeah.
I
don't.
I thought about that
today.
today. The fact that he is suspended, can't be on the sideline with his guys for the rest of the season. They are the number one seed in the college football.
He can
right
in
now.
The playoffs.
Oh, can he?
Yeah, he can be on the sideline in the playoffs.
Okay.
But still, to your point though, for him to not be able to be on the sidelines during their last 3 regular season games or something, that's just petty. It was the most petty thing that I've ever seen the NCAA do, and the Big Ten. Right, they're in the Big Ten, and now he's trying to get a restraining order against the Big Ten, which they're saying that if that goes through, obviously he's going to probably have to leave Michigan. And they're saying he could be suspended even more into next year if they get more information, and they're still investigating it, but they couldn't find enough now to be able to not allow him to coach in the playoff. It just feels like they're being petty as shit, and it feels like they hate Jim Harbaugh. And he's great for the damn sport. Yeah. He's amazing for college football. Number 1 team in the nation. Huge name. Brothers in the NFL. He coached in the Super Bowl. Why would you not want guys like that?
Turned around the Michigan program to what the powerhouse that
they
it is
own
today.
Ohio State now. Yeah. They never were owning Ohio State for the past 10 years or whatever it was. All right, so the last thing that I want to talk about, just because I have a lot of feelings towards this, is Aaron Rodgers is obviously not coming back this season, but he was activated off IR completely now, so he is eligible to come back and play, but he is not going to play. It's the most confusing shit that I've ever seen, and I think that Aaron Rodgers is a complete asshole for doing this. First of all, I think Aaron Rodgers, I am a huge fan of Aaron Rodgers. I always thought that he was better than Tom Brady in a ton of ways. I just felt like he was super underappreciated in Green Bay, and I felt like that he wasn't surrounded with talent. But I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like Aaron Rodgers is doing this to bring more fame onto himself. Because how do you go on the Pat McAfee show saying like, oh, I'm hinting at coming back. I'm hinting at coming back. You know, if we have a playoff run, like we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Like, why even mention at all that you're going to come back? Why even put hope into Jets fans? Why even know that it's going to circulate in the media that you actually have a chance to come back? And also, why are you going to come back and be activated? And they took a fullback off the roster, so somebody lost their roster spot because of him. For him to practice, if you really care about the guys and really care about this program, this freaking team, why are you going to get somebody kicked off the team so you can come back and practice? What benefit does it make for Aaron Rodgers to come back and practice with his guys when he's not going to play this year, when you have a full offseason ahead, and when you can actually rehab and get completely healthy and just be ready for next season? It feels like Aaron Rodgers is selfish, the most selfish player that I've ever seen, and he's all about himself, and he says he hates the media, but he loves being in that shit.
The only thing that I think can explain why he was saying all of that and saying like, yeah, I'm going to be back, is I think he actually believed in this team and that they could stay in playoff contention. Because I honestly think that if they were in playoff contention, he would probably try to come back and play for them. But the fact that they obviously were not a good team after, and we don't even know if they were going to be a good team with him even in the as the starting quarterback. But I think a lot of it was, I'm going to be the first person to tear their Achilles and come back the same season. Like, I think a lot of it speaks on I want the attention, I want things to be about me. But I think that's the only thing that can explain it, is that he really thought that this team might be in the playoff contention, and maybe he was hoping to come back. But it's just realistically, like, I don't even know. And the fact that he was even on the practice field throwing balls is insane. But like, are you really going to be in full condition, ready, confident enough to come back and play an NFL game?
No.
Behind that offensive line, and not like be worried about tearing your Achilles again? Like,
he thought about all that stuff. He was just trying to get his name out there and to make the Jets all about him, because they're talking shit about the Jets, and he tried to reel his name back into it to be like, oh, the Jets. Like, because he just wants to be talked about 24/7. He's like, he has no family. He has no wife. He has nothing else to do other than to be in the media. And not to criticize him for not having those things, but you can just tell, just based off his lifestyle, he loves himself some him. So I think that's why he loves being in New York now. It's a much more vibrant place than Green Bay was. That's right. For sure. And I think it definitely speaks to the personality we've seen come out of Aaron Rodgers recently, and just like that's kind of what he's all about. And I don't know. It's impressive. I'm gonna be honest. It's something I've never seen for somebody to come back. He's not back, and he said it would take 3 to 4 more weeks.
You don't see guys even on the practice field. I mean, a quarterback may be different, but you don't see guys like walking and running and stuff like this. Like, after what? I don't even know. Like, since week 1 of the NFL season.
Yeah, I think it's been like 4 months. I think 4 or 5 months.
So that's insane to say in itself. But like the fact that he kept saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be back. I'm coming back. I'm coming back," and then just, I guess because of where the Jets were at, he's just like, "Nah, I'm good. Like, I'm not doing it." So, yeah, and that's. I don't know. Maybe I am happy that I'm really happy that he's not coming back, because he is playing my Commanders this week, and I don't want to see what that would look like. By the way, I don't know if you know this, the Jets have the 32nd ranked offense in the league. We have the 32nd ranked defense in the league.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So who do you think?
Matchup of the century. I'm telling you.
Speaking of the matchups this next weekend, we're going to end off picking every single winner for this week. And we are going to see what our record is at the end of the year. I know there's only 3 weeks left. We'll do it in the playoffs as well, and see who comes out on top. I honestly think I'm going to destroy Jake. So We'll see how this goes because I know Jake's picking the 49ers, and I know damn well they're not going to win this Monday. All right, so let's start off. Saints, Rams tomorrow. Well, it will be today when this podcast comes out. Who wins Saints, Rams?
Are we just doing straight up?
Yep, straight up.
All right, taking the Rams.
Okay, I'll take the Rams as well. They've been on a heater lately. Bengals, Steelers.
Going Bengals. Going Bengals. I know that they're a slight underdog on betting sites, but I'm taking the Bengals.
I'm going to take the Steelers in this matchup. I don't think Mike Tomlin loses in this situation no matter what. He's going to get that winning season. Bills, Chargers.
Going Bills.
Yep,
no,
going
I love
Bills.
my Bills.
Going Bills. That's a Saturday night game. Damn, that would have been so good if Justin Herbert was playing and they were competent anyway. All right, Commanders, Jets.
I'm taking my commies, baby. Taking the Commanders.
Oh, man. You said that the Commanders have the 32nd ranked defense?
Yeah.
I'm going Jets.
All right.
I'm going to take Jets. Lions, Vikings.
Taking the Lions.
I'm going to take the Lions as well. Browns, Texans.
Taking the Browns. The Browns are hot right now. Joe Flacco.
CJ Stroud is out.
Joe Flacco is him. He is him.
I'm actually going to take the Texans here. I think that they need it a little bit more than the Browns do, and I feel like that they've really balled into Case Keenum last week and feel like they got a chance, and it's the Browns should have lost last week, so I'm going to take the Texans. Panthers, Packers.
Gotta take the Packers.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to the Panthers for getting their first win or second win of the year.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you.
Arthur Smith, you're an idiot. I mean, only getting Bijan Robinson the ball 8 times. Like, what are we doing? And I feel like that's been the story of the whole season. Like, I don't know
not
what's
getting
going on
him the
there.
ball.
Yeah.
He should be fired just for that. I'm also going to take the Packers as well. Titans, Seahawks. That one could be interesting, but just to let you know, Will Levis is probably not going to play, but Geno Smith is going to play.
Taking the Hawks.
I'm taking the Hawks.
Baby.
Taking the Hawks. Drew Lock, by the way, absolute dog.
Put that shit on, baby.
Dude, he like halfway put. He was like,
wait, does this still fit?
Yeah, that was fire.
No, I'm still him.
All right, I'm gonna take the Hawks and Colts, Falcons.
Taking the Colts.
I think the season's on the line, or the season is on the line, and I also think that Arthur Smith's job is on the line. The game is at Atlanta. You know what? Give me the Falcons. I'm going with a bunch of underdogs this week.
After they just lost to the
I'm
Panthers?
going with Atlanta.
Okay.
I think the Colts are frauds. I don't think they deserve to be in the playoffs. Jaguars, Buccaneers.
You know, this one is tougher than I think. I think I'm going to take the Jags. I am.
Yeah, this one is tough. This game is in Tampa, but it doesn't make that much of a difference. Same state. I'm going to take Jacksonville. They have to win to stay on pace to win their division. All right, probably one of the biggest games of the week because a lot of these matchups are pretty damn bad. Cowboys, Dolphins.
I kind of said it earlier. I think I'm taking the Fins. I'm taking the Fins.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Cowboys. I feel like they have to win. They have a true chance to win their division, and I think they're going to bounce back after that embarrassing loss to the Buffalo Bills. Cardinals, Bears.
Going Bears, baby. The Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to go the Bears, too. Their defense has played really good. Patriots, Broncos.
Ooh.
This one would have been good back in 2016 with Manning and
Brady, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in the Broncos. I have belief in them. The Patriots defense is good, man. It's good, and it's tough. But I'm still taking the Broncos in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Broncos too. They need a win as well. I like desperate teams. Chiefs, Raiders.
Chiefs.
Yeah, huge win after last week. The Raiders absolutely overachieved. I'm going to take the Chiefs. They have to win.
They're still going to be hungover from that. That's the biggest game they've had all season, obviously. Yeah. So
and honestly, like that won the coach the job, obviously. So I feel like they're going to underwhelm.
And there's still a chance for the Chiefs to get that #1 seed if things fall in line. So all these games are important for the Chiefs at this point.
Exactly. Eagles, Giants, a divisional matchup that always seems to be a little bit tougher than it should.
Yeah, but I still don't think there's any doubt that the Eagles. I think this is where the Eagles kind of figure things out. I do. And Giants have a good defense. I'm not discrediting that, but I think that the Eagles defense can obviously hold the Giants to very few points, and I think the Eagles win that game.
Yep, I am going to go with the Eagles as well. And for the game of the year, We kind of gave a preview, but I want you to say it again so I can rub it in your face. Ravens, 49ers.
I am taking the Niners. Shout out, Joe.
By how much?
By how much?
Yeah, it's 5.5. Do you think they cover?
No, I don't think they cover. I would take the Ravens plus 5.5. I think it's going to be something cheeky. Like, I think it could come down to like a game-winning field goal. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So.
And we have the best kicker in the game for that. Give me the Ravens. Give me the money line. Give me the +5. Give me all of it. I say the Ravens win by 7 points. I think their defense shows up and shows that Brock Purdy is a system quarterback, and I'm feeling myself. Ravens are going to win on Christmas night, and that will do it for us. Thank you for joining the I'm Him Sports Show podcast. Once again, we're almost at 100 subscribers. Probably when this comes out, we'll hit it. So we're going to do something for 100 subscribers. I'm going to talk Jake into eating 100 chicken McNuggets from McDonald's once, he, feels good about himself. Maybe goes a little bit on a diet beforehand just to like clear your body so you're ready for it. You're in great shape.
Can we do like chicken wings instead?
No, chicken wings. Yeah. That would be way harder.
But I love chicken wings more.
You don't like McDonald's McNuggets? They go down easy.
That's true. I could do it.
You'll do it for 100?
Sure.
All right. 100 McNuggets coming out hopefully in a couple weeks after the holidays.
I get sweet and sour sauce, right?
Yeah, so any sauce that you want. You might not want to go sauce, honestly. But thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.